October 20th, 2019 marks the 160th birth anniversary of one of America's most influential thinkers, educator John Dewey. He was a philosopher, psychologist, and educational reformer whose ideas have influenced education and social reform. Let's begin with John Dewey's educational background and career. Here, I'll highlight the key phases of his life. From 1884 to 1888 and 1889 to 1894, he was the instructor of philosophy and psychology at the University of Michigan. While in Michigan, he started to get interested in education, and he observed through his reading that most schools were following early traditions and did not pay attention to the latest findings in psychology. 1894 to 1904, he worked at the University of Chicago as a professor of philosophy and was a chairman of the Department of Philosophy, Psychology, and Pedagogy. He focused on pragmatism and the development of education. November 1894, Dewey and University President William R. Harper founded the famous laboratory school known as Dewey School. This is where he tested his psychological and pedagogic hypothesis. During his time at the University of Chicago, he became famous for his view of education that emphasizes the need to learn by doing. 1904 to 1930, he worked at Columbia University as the instructor of philosophy. He continued working on the applications of psychology to problems in education. And it was through the Columbia Teachers College, a training center for teachers of many countries, his educational philosophy gained international prominence and influenced educational ideas and practices throughout the world. For a detailed and clear viewing of the mind map, please refer to the link below the video. So what is Dewey's theory and belief on education? Dewey's definition of education is that education is a constant reconstruction or reorganization of experience which adds to the meaning of experience and which increases ability to direct the course of subsequent experience. In short, experiential education. In order to better understand this, I will examine some key terms and concepts. The first and most important key term is experience. The term experience plays a significant role in Dewey's formation of the concept of education, as he believed experience is the optimal stimulus for learning. According to Dewey, experience is always a two-way process, which he classifies as a transaction. An experience is always what it is because of a transaction taking place between the individual and what at the time constitutes the environment, and vice versa. Moreover, an important basis of learning through experience is the explicit cooperation of Dewey's notions of trying and undergoing. Trying refers to the outward expression of intention or action. It is a purposeful engagement of the individual with the environment. Through action, an attempt is made to have an impact on the world. Undergoing refers to the consequences of experience on the individual. In turn, in attempting to have an impact, the experience also has an impact on us. Moving on. According to Dewey, powerful educational experiences are a result of two fundamental principles: continuity and interaction. Continuity refers to how experiences, both past and present, influence the future, while interaction refers to how one's current situation influences experiences. Dewey combined these two principles, stating that one's present experiences are a result of how their previous experiences interact with and influence their present situation. Simply put, Dewey believes that human experiences, past, present, and future, influence the capacity to learn. Pattern of inquiry. It is essential to consider pattern of inquiry as thinking occurs not only after an experience, but also throughout the entire experience. The pattern begins with the student's inquiry into the problem, after which the student develops a plan to address the problem. Then, the student tests the plan against reality, after which the student applies what they've learned to create a solution. The experiential component of this model is the application of knowledge. Now, we will talk about Dewey's influence on instructional design. Dewey's pragmatic and democratic approach to schooling stood out in the early and mid 1900s. In Paul Author's article titled The Impact of John Dewey's Philosophy Upon American Education, he wrote, "Where the philosophy of John Dewey has been applied and practiced, it has improved the quality of American education more than the work or the ideas of any other single American living or dead." Moreover, Dewey's advocacy for experiential education directly contributed to today's educational model of experiential learning, in which learning is achieved through active inquiry. A theorist influenced by Dewey is David Kolb, who describes experiential learning as learning that occurs when someone creates knowledge through experiential transformations. Kolb's experiential learning is a four-stage process. First stage, concrete experience. It refers to the hands-on experience on problem-solving tasks. Second stage, reflective observation. It refers to the reviewing and reflecting on the process either individually or in a group. Third stage, abstract conceptualization. It refers to the generalization of knowledge and theory from previous experience based on reflection. Fourth stage, active experimentation. It refers to the modification and application of existing concepts and knowledge of the new theories. Now, I'll talk about the major elements in experiential learning activities. Meaning making. Learning through real-life experiences allows students to relate their knowledge to their daily lives. Second, paradigm shifting. This refers to the change of students' implicit ideas, assumptions, and beliefs. Third, self-understanding. By reflecting on their own performance regularly and in a guided manner, students pay more attention to their own thinking. Moving on. A teacher's role in experiential learning. A teacher sets the positive learning atmosphere for learning. A teacher acts as a guide. This allows students to make mistakes and learn from them throughout the learning process. A teacher gives students learning resources and information both before and during the task when students are stuck. A teacher provides students with freedom to experiment during the task, so that they are able to discover the solutions. A teacher shares feelings and thoughts with learners but does not dominate. This enables students to reflect on their own. An example of experiential learning in a classroom setting for senior secondary students. First of all, students are asked to share their previous experience of customer service. They describe the details and share it with their classmates. After gathering and organizing real cases from them, the teacher distributes cases of poor customer service to the group. Students are asked to discuss the solution to the problem. They are asked to think about how to handle the case and later the steps of action. Each group is asked to share their solutions with other groups by role play of customers and staff. Next, the groups discuss similarities and differences of how they deal with poor customer service. The last stage of the activity requires students to write down do's and don'ts of customer service. The theory of experiential education offers guidelines for Merrill's principles of instructions, as it requires students to apply the learning from each of the 5 stages to what they've experienced in the past and make personal adaptations of the knowledge and skills to suit their everyday lives. In simple words, knowledge is created through experiential transformation. In conclusion, here is a thought by Dewey to ponder over. We do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience.